everyone, my name is Andi Pateña-Matheu. Join me as we learn and unlearn things and make new discoveries. This is AnDiscoveries. This month of September, we recently celebrated World Bamboo Day to recognize the importance of bamboos on a global scale, which is why in today's episode, we are going to discover how the bamboo bike came to be here in Cebu. Let's find out.
Hi, welcome to SCFIP.
Bikes have become increasingly popular during the pandemic when public transportation was then very limited. From simply being a means to get to point A to point B, it has paved the way for the creation of various cycling communities, especially with the increasing number of scenic go-to places in Cebu's highlands. But have you ever thought of the idea of sustainable transportation through bamboo bikes? This was conceptualized in Cebu by bamboo architect Brian Auman, which was eventually passed on to students of the Salazar Colleges of Science and Institute of Technology through bamboo bike building workshops.
Nang daghan na katunan about sa katong seminar sa bamboo technology, like how to kanang sa process niya ma'am.
Joining me for this first segment to tell us about the history of this beautiful bamboo bike right beside me is the bamboo architect of Brad Lab. We have Sir Brian Auman. Hi, Sir Brian.
Hi, thank you, Andrea, for having me.
Thank you also for joining us in the show. Sige, Sir Bri, atong sugdan, atong diskusyon. Tell us about the history. How did this concept start?
Okay, we started the idea when I met this bamboo bike expert all the way from US, John Climaco, who's the owner and founder of Bamboo Technologies.
This was in the year?
2008. So when I met him, he made this workshop in Zambales, and I got to build my first bamboo bike. And when I made that first frame, and I was so happy and had this huge sense of accomplishment, so I told him, let's bring your workshop here in Cebu. And so that's how we started.
Pero backgrounder lang usa, Sir Bri, about yourself. Where did you begin? You began as somebody who's fond of biking or building, designing things. Tell us a little bit about yourself, sir.
Okay, so I'm the owner and founder of Brad Lab. It's Bamboo Research, Architecture and Design Laboratory. So I'm an architect who specializes in bamboo architecture. So we do a lot of bamboo villas, bamboo chapels, and all sorts of resorts. And one of the things that we love on the sidelines is actually making stuff like this.
So after the concept, how did you bring it to Cebu?
So I told John, let's bring this to Cebu. And so the first bamboo bike building workshop was held in University of San Carlos. And what's interesting is we didn't expect that it'll become so successful. So it was free for all. The students of San Carlos, in and out, they got to see how one bike frame is built. And so the year after, Bamboo Bike Building Workshop 2, now we did it in the middle of Robinson's Galleria. So we displayed 12 bamboo bikes in the middle of the mall, and we get to build 5 frames in the middle of the mall. And recently, early this year, we did one in Active Zone Ayala Center, Cebu. So that was our Bamboo Bike Building Workshop 3. And next year, we're gonna have another series.
So unsa may mahitabuan ning mga bike building workshops with bamboos? After the workshop, diha dayon, you instantly know how to build a bamboo bike?
More or less, yes. So what's interesting about Bamboo Bike Building Workshop, it's a 3-day event. Day 1, we introduce them to different parts of a bike, different proportions, and all these technicalities. And then they get to build one frame. In day 2, we started wrapping now. And day 3, mag-sanding and finishing nami. So it's the entire process on a 3-day workshop.
Kaning workshop, ang frame humanadaan or sila gid ang muhimo sa frame itself?
Sila mismo. So from scratch, good. And that's why a lot of students and a lot of people are interested to see it built from scratch.
If you could walk us through the history of the process, sir, back then, mas dugay ba kani adto himuon ang frame compared to the process now that you're more equipped with newer technology?
Oh, that's a good one. So before, one bike frame, we built it for a span of 1 month.
Tuod-tuod sa daing,
Or
no?
taod sad, because we have to harvest the bamboos.
Oh.
We have to treat it para dili bukbukon. Mo man ni kasagaran question. Dili na bukbukon yung bike. Once it's treated, we have to select a few specifications. Dapat mo ni ang diameter, mo ni ang thickness. And after that, we have to post-process before you can actually start. But now, with our bamboo bike building workshop, we can put that in just a 3-day period.
Sir, I'm not very kanang knowledgeable about the different species of bamboos ba? Pero kasi kasagaran klase sa bamboo ang gikinahanglan pa paghimo ani?
Oh, that's interesting. To build this, it's basically just kawayan tinik.
Kawayan tinik.
And we have that everywhere else. It's just a matter of harvesting, selecting, and treatment.
Ang treatment, unsay process? Like if you could explain it in layman's terms.
This is one of the biggest questions I usually get, not just in bike, but in architecture. But the idea is, we take out the starch content of a bamboo. So, if dili makuha, at least maparat na siya. So over the years, sakto to nga ilubog sa dagat. Kasi ang starch maparat man eventually. And karon, we're doing the same process, but now with more kanang saturated chemicals like borax and boric acid. So it sounds very toxic, but it's actually not. So if ilubog mo sa dagat, it would take you at least 3 months. But with the treatment we're doing, at least 2 weeks na lang.
Nya karon sir, giunsa man ninyo pag fast track sa process into 3 days na sa paghimo sa frame from 1 month?
It's like years and years of experience. So during the workshop, ready na tanang bamboos. It's just a matter of actually building it.
If we could talk about the general cost, like how much would it usually cost? Like price range?
This, like one frame, usually costs around 30,000. And people usually say, mahala uy. That's why Bamboo Bike Building Workshop is a really good awareness. Nga dili jud lali maghimo ginani. So they get to see ang wrapping process. Sa pag-wrap, they get to see ang sanding, and then ang finishing. So bamboo is a cheap material, but it's very expensive labor. So that's why we're passing it to the next generation. But if a lot of people will build more bamboo bikes, eventually it will be affordable through the masses.
So di pa ta mo discuss sa training the younger generation. Where do we source our bamboo supply?
All our bamboos are sourced locally.
Asa madapit sir?
Currently, we have a lot of plantations with Father Vic Labao in Balamban, Mayor Al Diamante in Tuburan, Vice Mayor Benjo Labuca in Asturias. So we source them out from there.
Okay. Now, in terms of other support, so naa naman tayo suporta no gikan sa mga kalungsuran of Western Cebu.
Yes.
What other coordinations do you have with the other LGUs in terms of the design, fabrication?
What's interesting this year is our Bamboo Bike Building Workshop is now fully supported by Mandawi City. So huge thanks to Mayor Jonas Cortez. So our idea now is to transfer all these technologies to Mandawi City LGU. And the Mandawi City LGU will now make their own fabrication factory. So the idea now was we'll have bamboo bikes made in Mandawi City for all Cebuanos. So it will be locally sourced and locally made here in Cebu. And what I really love to see is we'll have a lot of bamboo bikes on the streets. Daghan ng bamboo bike sa Carbon, daghan ng bamboo bike sa Mercado, daghan ng bamboo bike sa Bukid, sa Syudad, as well as in Mandawi. And it will start in Mandawi City.
Nice. But what makes this different from the bamboo bikes in Luzon? Kaya naman sa mga manggawas, di ba, sir? Like, I'm sure that you've been compared to their products there also. But nga noon sa kalahian sa atua diri?
Our main goal here is basically to teach the craftsmanship skills to the next generation. That's our biggest push. Because me, as an architect, my main goal is to build architecture. And building bikes is just, for fun. Our idea is to transfer the craftsmanship skills to the students, and we're happy. We're now collaborating with Salazar College of Sciences and Institute of Technology, who fully supports what we do. So a huge thanks to President Alden Salazar. So we're transferring this to the students and to the engineering, and we're doing a lot of bamboo workshops here, not just bikes, including domes, architectures, villas, cottages, anything you can think of.
Nice. That's nice, because as they say, passion should not just end with passion. You should add a letter T, so pass it on. No, Char?
Yes, wow.
Thank you so much,
Thank you, thank you.
Brian. So up next, ato na sang, we'll sit down with the president of Salazar Colleges of Science and Institute of Technology himself. So stay tuned. So now let's proceed to part 2 of the story. Giunsa pag-introduce ni ining bamboo bike sa academe. So this time we are joined by the president of Salazar Colleges of Science and Institute of Technology, or SCSIT, Engineer Alden Salazar. Thank you so much for inviting us to this institution, sir.
Thank you, Miss Andrea. Thank you for having us. We're pleased to be part of this group.
Sir, can you tell us the story of how you and Sir Brian connected with each other? Giunsa man ni siya pagdalangan hi sa Salazar kining bamboo bike?
Well, we met through a mutual friend, Socorro Sanchez, and she introduced us to Brian, all the bamboo enthusiasts, commonly known as mga bambuangs. It's a different group that's crazy about bamboo, passionate about bamboo, and then we connected on usability sa bamboo. So since we are a school, Brian's an architect, I'm a civil engineer, so I was thinking, how do we relay this information sa mga students on traditional, contemporary building materials to use bamboo? So we found it interesting, magamit this bisikleta. This can be used structurally, so what other uses can we use this for? That's what it started, that the interest got picked up, and it, lingaw kayo, it's a different paradigm nga, madada ini. So that's where it started.
Nag-mention naman kag-usability, sir, no? You used to be a cyclist yourself.
Yes.
So nakasway nagiging,
Oh, yes.
of course,
Yeah.
no? How would you compare it to the other bikes that you've
It's
driven?
softer because it's a natural product, and it bounce niya. It's not as rigid, so there's a little bit of flex niya when you ride, that you don't feel kung steel or aluminum. Lain ang iyang feel, and also sa imong paghuna-huna nga, this is a sustainable product that I'm using, I'm riding. So it's ang garbo sa nimo, ang feeling nimo, so it permeates your body when you ride that.
How about in terms of iyahang weight? Mas gaan ba siya?
Mas gaan gamay.
Oh.
But bamboo comes in many different shades and purposes. There's a black bamboo that's more dense, kani sa tinik man nga bamboo. So it depends on ang imong use. Now, if you want to go really, really rough, mag-rally ka, then you have to use katong mga black bamboo, mga stronger than steel bamboo, which are nadya. But if you wanna just for daily use lang, then it's ordinary bamboo. Like any material, you fit that to the purpose. If it's heavy duty, you use heavy duty materials. If it's light daily use, then you use that. Kay ang cost, diferensya man. If you build for long last, if you build for daily use, lain ang costings, lain ang materials.
So how did you inject this new product into your curriculum diri sa Salazar, sir?
First, we had a workshop with Brian. And first, tell the students that you can work with bamboo and open them to the idea that this is possible. Once that's possible, then it breaks many different grounds. For instance, sa construction. Construction has been around for hundreds and thousands of years. Ang mga old building, let's say mud, straw, bamboo, nipa, has been lost already. In this world of ours, when sustainability and ang pag-sustain sa mga materials is going away, wood's going away, things are being expensive. So we have to learn how to use what's there and what's reusable, replantable. Bamboo can be mature in 5 years, whereas other woods is more mas dugay sila makuha, no? And then also ang flexibility sa bamboo. But you use the bamboo to which the strength is. You cannot use it to where it's not. So you have to apply the technology. That's where the engineering and the architecture can have to play. So, lisod maggamiton mo di ganahan, it's kontra niya. So, use
Yeah.
it where it is.
So, unsa man siya, sir? Compulsory na ba ni sa atong
It's an elective.
Ah,
It's an elective course.
okay.
We have a subject that goes back into teaching the kids how we used to build before. For instance, close example is katong mga fort ni San Pedro is with egg white
Yeah.
and sand.
Yeah.
No concrete. It's still standing today. And there's many other examples, mga wood nga structures, as long as it's built well, it's still standing today. So if you learn how to do that, you don't need expensive materials to do that. Light materials pwede, as long as you know how. And that's where it's lost in the students and how to make use of what we have, what's
Yeah.
sustainable before.
Gamit siya din history.
Oh yes,
Hindi
yes,
siya
yes.
napakalimutan.
You have to like for instance on anything you have
Yeah.
to learn history
Yeah,
very well, or else you lose ang ilang usability.
Would you be able to give us like a range of how many bamboo bikes were already produced by the students of Salazar? since this
Siguro we
concept?
have about we started last year siguro mga 15.
15. So,
Oo.
unsa may plano niyo, sir? Baligyan ni ninyo, gamiton sa students?
Gamiton as an example, and then we'll see how this goes because it's not as of now it's limited, so it's very expensive. So once production goes up, then perhaps we should be able to sell that. But it's just an eye opener to the students. Nga, pwede na ini. And that little idea, that little spark would drive so many different ideas. If I can use bamboo, what about other materials? What about other sustainable materials? If I can do this, why can't I do it? So it drives a point nga there are other options. Sustainable, natural options.
Yeah. Coming from the academe, sir, how important is it to educate the youth on the importance of sustainability? Especially karon nga we've been reaping the effects of climate change.
Yes.
Grabe na kayo ang pagbaha.
As an engineer and as an architect, you have to build with what you have where you are. So you have to realize ang strength of materials nga naa diha. As an old example, kang Rizal, when he went to the pit and was exiled, he used exclusively bamboo to make dams, to have water wheels, to have buildings. So if you're in the mountains, if you're in the sea, if you're in the flatlands, you use what you have. But if you're not cognizant, you don't recognize what is there, you don't know what to build. So recognize ang iyong materials and then start from there. And most times, it's trial and error.
Are you looking into experimenting other finished products with bamboo, sir, aside from just the bike?
Structures.
Like what? Unsa, if you could elaborate on that.
A chapel, a building, a restroom, a good restroom by the sea.
By the students?
Yeah, by the students. Yes.
What else, sir?
There are. Brian has. I mean, going back, bamboo has been around for some time, and most Asian countries have developed very exotic and very wonderful designs using bamboo that we
Yeah.
Filipinos haven't had the chance to do that. There's bridges, there's domes, there's churches. It's so many different things. One just last examples in Hong Kong, skyscrapers. Bamboo is still being used as a framework to paint or clean the glasses as 150 feet high. Gilash na nila because it's sustainable and it bends very easy.
Yeah.
But it restores its shape and like mabalik na yun. So there's many applications sa bamboo. It's just as I said earlier, what is best to use it for in the locale that you have.
Tinuod. Because it's also ironic, sir, no nga, what we used to learn in grade school, we learned about the bahay kubo, but then
Yes.
growing up, we tend to forget about the versatility of
Grabe.
bamboos.
It's been used for ages. We just have forgotten how to use it or how to have blended with other materials. Especially karon, bamboo, for instance, grows at a rate of 4 feet a year. It's easily replenishable. It's a grass, it's not a tree. So once it's the fastest growing grass that we have, but it's also ang iyang pagka-bendability, usability ba niya nga atong magamit. So kids should, or our students should recognize that and use it where they can. Not as, not just use steel or wood, but as a magamit ng bamboo.
So far, sir, say feedback sa mga students. Have they shown their interest?
Yes, it's just looking at this would draw their interest. And even interest on the students here, sir, please include me in your next workshop.
Oo ba?
Even 5 minutes ago, a student just walked by and said, sir, can you include me in the workshop next? Because in our province, there's lots of bamboo, but no use. So sometimes it's the technical aspects, it's the design, it's teaching them how to use bamboo properly.
In life, may we all be like bamboos that would only bend but never break. This has been Andi for AnDiscoveries. Babu!